Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Cup English. My name is Liam.
And I'm Chloe. We're so happy you're here with us today.
Yes, this is the place where you can listen to real English every single day.
Exactly. Our goal is to make English simple, natural, and fun. You can listen to us while you drink your coffee, while you walk, or even while you clean your room.
And don't forget, if you like our podcast, hit the subscribe button. That way you can get new episodes every day.
Yes, please subscribe and share it with your friends. We really love seeing our community grow.
All right, so today we have a very interesting topic.
Yes, I love this one. Today, we are talking about why failure is a teacher.
Ooh, big topic.
Yeah, but don't worry, we're not going to make it complicated. We'll just share our stories, our ideas, and how failure can actually help us in life.
Right, because failure is something everyone knows. Everyone has failed at something.
Yes, if you're human, you have failed.
That's true. So let's get started. So Chloe, let me ask you first. When you hear the word failure, what comes to your mind?
When I hear failure, I think about a time when I wanted to do something, but it didn't go the way I hoped. Like I had a plan, but it didn't work.
Yeah, same here. For me, failure means trying but not reaching the goal.
Exactly. And honestly, I think failure is normal. Nobody is perfect.
Totally. I mean, think about kids. When a baby learns to walk, they fall many times. Is that failure?
Yes, but it's also learning. If the baby never fell, they would never learn balance.
Right. So actually, failure is part of the process.
Exactly. But, even when we're older, failure still hurts.
Oh, yes, it can feel very bad.
I remember in school, I had to do a presentation in front of the class. I prepared a little, but not enough. When I stood in front of everyone, I forgot my words, my face turned red, and I just wanted to hide.
Oh, no. That sounds really hard.
It was. At that moment, I thought, this is a disaster. I failed. But later I realized I learned something. I learned that I needed to practice more and I needed to write notes.
That makes sense. So the failure taught you something.
Yes, it was painful, but it was also a lesson.
I think everyone has a story like that. For me, when I was a teenager, I joined a school race. I wanted to run very fast, but I started too quickly and I got tired in the middle. Everyone passed me and I finished last.
Oh, I can imagine that.
I felt so embarrassed. But later I understood, don't start too fast and train more before the race.
See? Another example of failure as a teacher.
Exactly. That's why I believe failure can actually help us grow.
Yes, even if it feels sad in the moment, later you can see the lesson.
So failure is not the end. It's just part of the journey.
Right. And today we're going to share more personal stories about failure and why we think it is one of the best teachers in life.
Yes, because sometimes the lessons from failure are even stronger than the lessons from success.
Totally agree.
So, Chloe, let's go back in time a little bit. Let's talk about failure when we were kids. Do you remember one of your first failures?
Oh, yes, I remember very clearly. It was when I was about 7 years old. My mom was making cookies in the kitchen. I loved cookies so much, and I wanted to help her. One day she was busy, and I thought, I can do it myself.
Oh no, I think I know where this is going.
Yes, you know. I took the flour, the sugar, the eggs. I mixed everything in a big bowl. I was so proud of myself. I put it in the oven, and I waited. I thought, wow, I am going to surprise my mom with amazing cookies.
That sounds very sweet.
But when the cookies came out, oh my gosh, they were black, hard, and they smelled terrible. I forgot to set the right temperature. The oven was too hot and the cookies burnt.
Ouch.
My mom came to the kitchen and she saw the mess. Flour everywhere, a black tray of cookies, and me standing there with a sad face. I said, Mom, I wanted to help. She smiled and said, It's okay, Chloe. This is how we learn.
That's so nice.
Yes. At first, I cried because I wanted to make something perfect. But after that, my mom taught me how to read the recipe, how to check the oven, how to wait. The next time, the cookies were better.
So that was your first lesson in the kitchen.
Exactly. Failure taught me patience, and also that cooking is not magic. You have to follow steps.
That's a really good story. And you know what? I have a similar story, but with something different. For me, it was learning how to ride a bike.
Oh, yes, the classic childhood failure.
Yes, exactly. When I was maybe 6, my dad gave me a small red bike. It had 2 wheels, no training wheels. He said, "Come on, Liam, you can do it." I was so excited. I thought this will be easy.
But it wasn't, right?
Not at all. I sat on the bike, started to pedal, and boom, I fell. My knees were scratched and I almost cried. But my dad said, "Get up, try again."
Classic dad.
Yes, so I tried again. Boom, fell again. I must have fallen 20 times that day. I was frustrated. I even shouted, "I will never ride this bike."
Oh, poor little Liam.
Yeah, but my dad kept saying, "One more time, you can do it." Finally, after so many falls, something clicked. I found balance, I pedaled, and I didn't fall. I felt like I was flying.
Wow, that must have felt amazing.
Yes, it was the best feeling. And you know, that failure, falling again and again, was my teacher. It taught me not to give up, even when something looks impossible.
I love that. So, cookies for me and bikes for you. Both full of failure, but also full of lessons.
Yes, and I think many listeners can remember something like that from their childhood. Maybe learning to swim, or playing an instrument, or even just tying their shoes.
Oh, yes, tying shoes is a big one. I remember my little brother. He cried every time the laces got loose. But one day he learned, and now, of course, he laughs about it.
Exactly. Failure in childhood feels so big, but later we see it was just practice.
Yes, and it shows us that failure is not something to fear. It's something we all need.
True?
I think when we are children, we don't really think too much about failure. We just try, fall, and try again.
That's right. Kids are brave in that way. Adults sometimes forget that.
Yes, adults think, oh no, if I fail, people will laugh, people will judge. But kids just fall and get up.
Exactly. That's why remembering childhood failures is useful. It reminds us of our natural courage.
Good point. And it also reminds us that learning takes time.
Yes, nothing good comes immediately. So childhood failures are small, but the lessons are very big.
Totally. And they prepare us for the bigger failures later in life.
That's true. Childhood is like training for adulthood.
Yes, training with cookies, bikes, and shoelaces.
Exactly.
So, Liam, we talked about our childhood failures like bikes and cookies, but what about later in school or work? Do you remember a time you failed when you were older?
Oh yes, many times. But one story comes to mind very quickly. It was about a big exam in high school. I studied, but not enough. Honestly, I thought, I know this subject, I'll be fine.
Classic mistake.
Exactly. On the day of the exam, I sat down, opened the paper, and my brain just stopped. I looked at the questions and I realized, oh no, I don't know these answers. I felt panic. I tried my best, but when I got the result, it was a failing grade.
Ouch, that must have hurt.
Yes, I felt so embarrassed. I thought my parents would be angry, and my teacher would think I was lazy. For a few days, I was very down. But then I realized the failure was not the end. It was a message. The message was, you need to study in a better way.
That's a really good point.
So next time, I changed my strategy. I made small study plans, I reviewed every day, I asked my teacher questions, and I practiced. And guess what? On the next exam, I passed with a very good grade.
That's amazing.
Yes, and honestly, without the failure, I would never have learned how to study properly.
That's so true. Sometimes we think failure means we're not smart, but actually, failure just means we need a new method.
Exactly. What about you, Chloe? Did you fail in school or work?
Oh, yes. I have a big story about job interviews. After college, I wanted a job in marketing. I found a company I liked, and I went for an interview. I was so nervous. I wanted to impress them.
I can imagine.
When the interviewer asked me questions, my mind went blank. I didn't know what to say. I said, many times. My answers were not clear. At the end, the interviewer smiled politely, but I knew I didn't get the job. That must have been tough. It was. I cried after that. I thought, I'm not good enough. I will never get a job. But then, after a few days, I told myself, okay, Chloe, this is a lesson. What can you learn?
Good question.
So I started practicing. I stood in front of a mirror and answered common interview questions. I asked a friend to practice with me. I read about the company before the next interview.
Nice.
The next time, I felt much more confident. I spoke clearly, I smiled, I showed my ideas, and guess what? I got the job.
That's fantastic.
Yes. And honestly, if I had gotten the first job, I would never have learned how to prepare for interviews. That failure gave me the skills to succeed later.
That's a really powerful story.
Thanks. I think many people listening right now can connect with this. We all fail in school or work, but failure can push us to improve.
Yes. It's like failure is a mirror. It shows us where we need to change.
Exactly.
You know, I also failed at a summer job once. I worked in a cafe, and on my first day, I dropped a tray of drinks. Coffee everywhere, customers upset. I was so embarrassed.
Oh, no.
Yes, it was a disaster. But my manager didn't fire me. She said, Liam, this happens. Be careful, move slowly, focus. The next days, I worked carefully and I never dropped a tray again.
That's great. So even at work, failure can teach us.
Yes, and you know what's funny? Today, I still remember that feeling and I always hold my coffee carefully.
That's a useful lesson for life.
Yes,
So to sum up this part, failure in school teaches us how to learn. Failure at work teaches us how to prepare and be professional.
yes, and both teach us patience and resilience.
Exactly. And the important thing is don't stop because of failure. Take the lesson and keep going.
That's right. So, Chloe, we shared stories from childhood, school, and work, but now I want to ask something deeper. Do you think failure is always good?
That's a hard question. I don't think failure feels good in the moment. When we fail, it hurts. We feel sad, maybe even ashamed.
Yes, I agree. Failure is painful. That's why many people are afraid of it.
Exactly. For me, failure is scary. Sometimes after failing, I don't want to try again right away. I need time.
That makes sense. For me, failure is not scary, but it is very hard to accept. I don't like to see myself lose. I want to win. I want to succeed. When I fail, I feel like I lost the battle.
Yes, I understand. For me, it's more like, oh no, maybe people will think I'm not good.
Ah, so for you, it's about other people.
Yes, sometimes. When I fail in front of others, I feel embarrassed. Like the job interview story I told earlier.
Yes, I remember.
But here's the thing. Even though failure feels bad, I know it helps me grow stronger.
That's a good point.
For example, the interview failure made me practice more. Without that fear, I wouldn't have improved.
Yes, so you're saying failure makes us stronger even if it scares us.
Exactly.
For me, I see failure like a test. Life is asking, how much do you want this? If I give up, maybe I didn't want it enough. But if I continue, the failure is just part of the journey.
That's a very strong way to see it.
Yeah, but I admit, in the moment, I hate failing.
Me too.
I think maybe the difference is I see failure as a challenge and you see failure as something scary.
Yes, that sounds right.
But in the end, we both agree it's useful.
Yes, failure doesn't mean the story is finished. It just means try again, but in a new way.
Exactly. Failure is not the end. It's a step.
Yes, like a step on a staircase. To reach the top, you need to take many steps. Some steps are easy, some are hard, and sometimes you slip. But if you keep climbing, you reach the goal.
I like that picture. A staircase of failure that leads to success.
Yes, something like that.
So to our listeners, don't think failure means stop. Think failure means learn.
Exactly. And remember, everyone fails. Even people you admire, even your heroes.
That's true. We'll actually share some famous examples later.
Yes, but first let's finish this part, because I think the most important message is failure can feel different for each person.
Yes, for me, it feels like a personal fight. For you, it feels scary and public.
Right, but both of us learned something from it.
And both of us kept going.
Yes, that's the secret. Keep going.
Well said.
So, Liam, we talked about school, jobs, big failures, but I think failure is not only in big things, it's also in daily life, right?
Yes, absolutely. Every day we have small failures. They don't make the news, but they still teach us.
Do you have an example?
Oh, yes. Let me tell you about my exercise journey. A few years ago, I decided I will go to the gym every day. I will become super healthy. I was very motivated.
Sounds good.
Yes, but the problem was I didn't have discipline. I went for 1 week, maybe 2, then I skipped a day, then another day. Soon, I stopped completely.
Ah, I know that story.
Yes, it's very common. I felt like a failure. I thought, I can't do this. I'm not strong enough. But then I realized the plan was too big. Every day was too much for me at that time.
So what did you do?
I started small. I said, okay, I will exercise 3 times a week. That was easier, and slowly I built the habit.
Nice.
So the failure of my first plan taught me to be realistic.
That's a really good lesson.
Yes. What about you, Chloe? Any daily failures?
Oh, yes, money.
Okay, tell me.
I wanted to save money. I made a plan. I will not buy coffee outside. I will not buy new clothes. I will save $200 every month. Sounds smart, right?
Yes, very smart.
But in reality, I failed. After 2 weeks, I bought a new dress. Then I went out with friends and spent too much. At the end of the month, I had saved almost nothing.
Oh no.
Yes, I felt bad. I thought, I can't control myself. But then I learned the lesson was I needed a clear system. So I started using an app to track spending. I also made small goals, like $50 a week instead of $200 a month.
That makes sense.
And slowly, it worked. The failure showed me my plan was not clear enough.
That's a great story.
Thanks. I think many listeners can connect with this. Maybe some people failed with diets, some with money, some with studying.
Yes, these daily failures are very common, but they're also very important teachers.
Exactly, because life is built on small habits. If you learn from small failures, you grow stronger every day.
That's true. For example, I also failed with sleep. I used to stay up late, watching TV or playing games. In the morning, I was so tired.
I know that feeling.
Yes, and I failed many times to go to bed early, but after failing again and again, I started to ask, why is this happening? I realized I needed a bedtime routine. So now I read a book before sleep. It helps me.
That's smart.
Yes. So even sleep failure was a teacher.
I like that. For me, another small failure is with cooking healthy food. Sometimes I say, this week I will cook every day. But then after work, I feel tired. I order pizza.
Yes, same here.
But I learned, don't make the plan too strict. Now I plan for simple meals, like easy salad or soup. That way, I don't fail so often.
That's a good solution.
Yes. So the lesson is failure shows us what is realistic.
Exactly. And it helps us improve step by step.
Right. So listeners, don't be afraid of small failures in daily life. They are your teachers.
Yes, fail at the gym, fail with money, fail with food, fail with sleep. It's all normal. The important thing is ask yourself, what can I learn?
And then try again, maybe with a new plan.
Yes, that's how we grow.
I think that's beautiful.
So, Chloe, we have told many stories, but let's ask the big question. Why do we call failure a teacher?
Good question. For me, failure is a teacher because it shows us what does not work.
Yes, that's true.
Like with my cookies when I was little. I learned too much heat equals burned cookies. That's a lesson. Without failing, I would not know.
Exactly. And for me, the bike story. I fell many times, and each time I learned something about balance.
So failure tells us, not this way. Try another way.
Yes, it's like science. In science, people test ideas. If the idea fails, it's not the end. It's information.
Right. And failure also teaches us to be humble.
That's very true.
When you succeed all the time, you start to think you are perfect. But when you fail, you remember, you are human. You still have things to learn.
Yes, it keeps us grounded.
Exactly. I think humility is a very important lesson.
Yes, failure also teaches strength.
What do you mean?
Well, think about it. When life is easy, we don't use our strength. But when we fail, we feel pain, we feel stress. If we stand up again, we build mental muscles.
Oh, I like that. Mental muscles.
Yes, like going to the gym. If you lift weights, your body becomes stronger. If you face failure, your mind becomes stronger.
That makes sense.
So failure is a teacher of resilience.
Yes, resilience is very important.
And there's another reason. Failure makes success sweeter.
Oh, yes.
Think about it. If you win the first time, it feels good. But if you fail many times and then you win, the victory feels amazing.
That's so true. Like my job interview story. The success after failure felt much bigger.
Exactly. And that's why many successful people say failure was their teacher.
Yes, sometimes people who succeed very fast don't know how to handle problems later. But people who fail first are ready for anything.
That's right. Success without failure can be dangerous. You think life will always be easy.
But success after failure gives you wisdom.
Well said.
So, to summarize, failure teaches us what doesn't work, it teaches humility, it builds resilience, and it makes success sweeter.
Yes, and it shows us that learning is a process.
Exactly. Failure is not against us, failure is for us.
Wow, I like that.
Yes, it sounds deep, but it's true.
Yes, so next time we fail, we should say, "Hello, teacher."
That's funny, but yes,
Failure is the teacher that nobody wants, but everybody needs.
that's perfect.
So, Chloe, we talked about our own stories. But what about famous people? Do you know some big names who failed before success?
Oh, yes, many. The first one I think of is Michael Jordan.
Ah, the basketball legend.
Yes, when he was young in high school, he wanted to join the basketball team, but guess what? The coach said no. He was not good enough at that time.
Wow, imagine that. Michael Jordan, not good enough.
Yes, he cried, but he didn't stop. He practiced harder every day. Later, he became one of the best players in history.
That's amazing.
So his failure was his teacher. It told him, work harder.
Yes, perfect example. For me, another name is Steve Jobs.
Oh, Apple guy.
Yes, he started Apple, but later he was fired from his own company. Can you imagine?
That must have been terrible.
Yes, but he didn't give up. He started other companies, learned new things, and years later, he came back to Apple. Under his leadership, Apple became one of the biggest companies in the world.
That's powerful.
Yes. So being fired was not the end, it was a lesson.
I love that.
Do you know another example?
Yes, J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter.
Oh, right.
Yes, before her books became famous, she was very poor. She had no job,
And she was raising a child alone. She sent her book to many publishers, and almost all of them said no.
Really?
Yes, she failed again and again, but she didn't stop. Finally, one publisher said yes! Now, Harry Potter is one of the most famous book series in the world.
Wow, from failure to success.
Exactly.
I think Walt Disney also had failures.
Yes, I heard that too.
When he was young, he was fired from a newspaper because the editor said, "You have no imagination."
That's funny.
Yes, and later he created Disney, one of the most imaginative companies in the world.
That's ironic.
Yes. So again, failure was the teacher.
I think these stories show something.
Important?
What's that?
Failure happens to everyone, even the most successful people. Yes, exactly.
So if our listeners fail, they should remember, hey, even Michael Jordan failed. Even Steve Jobs failed. Even J.K. Rowling failed.
That's right. Failure is not a sign that you are weak. It's a sign that you are trying.
Yes. And if you keep going, you can turn failure into success.
Beautiful.
So, famous people are proof. Failure is really a teacher.
Yes, and maybe one day our listeners will have their own stories of failure and success to share.
I hope so.
So, Chloe, we told stories, we shared examples, but now let's get practical. What can our listeners do when they fail?
Good idea, because it's not enough to say failure is a teacher. We need steps.
Exactly. So, what's your first tip?
My first tip is don't be afraid of failure.
Yes, that's important.
When we are afraid, we don't even try, but trying is the only way to learn. So if you fail, remember, it's normal. Everyone fails.
That's good. My tip is write down the lesson.
Oh, I like that.
Yes, after failure, ask yourself, what did I learn? Write it in a notebook. Maybe you failed a test. The lesson could be, I need to study more. Maybe you failed to cook dinner. The lesson could be, I need to check the recipe.
That's very practical.
Yes, because if you only feel sad, you don't grow. But if you write the lesson, you change.
I agree. My second tip is try again, but try differently.
Yes, that's important.
If you do the same thing again and again, you will fail again. But if you change something, you may succeed.
Yes, like Thomas Edison. He tried many times to make the light bulb. Each time, he changed something.
Exactly.
Another tip is talk with a friend.
Oh, yes, that helps a lot.
Sometimes failure feels heavy, but if you share with a friend, it feels lighter, and maybe your friend gives you advice.
Yes, or they just listen. That already helps.
Yes,
I also want to add, be kind to yourself.
that's a good one.
Many times after failure, we say bad things to ourselves, like, I'm stupid, or I can't do this. But that's not fair. You are learning. You need kindness.
Yes, talk to yourself like you talk to a friend.
Exactly.
Another idea is celebrate small progress.
Oh, I love that.
Maybe you failed many times, but this time you did a little better. Celebrate that. Even small wins matter.
Yes, because success is not only the big moment, it's the little steps too.
Right.
So let's make a quick list for our listeners. 1. Don't be afraid of failure. 2. Write down the lesson. 3. Try again, but try differently. 4. Talk with a friend. 5. Be kind to yourself. 6. Celebrate small progress.
That's a great list.
Yes, and if our listeners follow these steps, failure will become less scary and more useful.
Yes, they will see failure not as the end, but as a step forward.
Exactly.
So if you fail today, don't cry too long. Write, learn, and try again.
Yes. Tomorrow is another chance.
Perfect. Wow, Chloe, this has been such a deep talk today.
Yes, Liam, I really enjoyed it. Failure is not an easy topic, but it's an important one.
I agree. We shared our own stories. We talked about school, work, childhood, and even famous people.
Yes, and the main message is clear. Failure is not the end. Failure is a teacher.
Exactly. It teaches us what doesn't work. It teaches humility. It builds strength, and it makes success sweeter.
Yes,
And it shows us that learning is a journey.
So to our listeners, if you failed yesterday, or even today, remember, it's okay. You are not alone.
Yes, everyone fails. Michael Jordan failed. Steve Jobs failed. J.K. Rowling failed. And look at what they achieved later.
That's right. So don't give up. Use your failure as your teacher.
Yes. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I try again?
And remember the tips we shared. Don't be afraid. Write the lesson. Try differently. Talk with a friend. Be kind to yourself. And celebrate small progress.
Yes, those simple steps can change the way you see failure.
So, next time you fall, don't just stay down. Stand up and say, "Okay, teacher, what did you want me to learn?"
Yes, I love that.
Me too.
Before we go, let's remind our listeners, this is Daily Cup English. We are here every day with new podcasts to help you practice English and also to share real-life topics.
Yes, we talk about life, learning, and growth. So if you enjoyed today's talk, please subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to follow so you never miss a new episode.
Yes, every day we bring you a fresh cup of English.
And maybe also a fresh cup of inspiration.
Exactly.
So, thank you for listening today.
Yes, thank you so much. We hope our talk about failure gave you new energy and hope.
Remember, failure is not your enemy. Failure is your teacher.
Yes, learn from it and keep moving forward.
All right, that's all for today.
See you tomorrow, everyone.
Bye!
Bye.